the debt ceiling crisis could be the most serious one yet. The U.S. Treasury Department states that a failure to raise the borrowing limit could potentially trigger a debt default, which would lead to a financial crisis and recession that could echo the events of 2008 or worse. A failure by Congress to raise the nation's debt would cascade through the economy, increasing borrowing costs for consumers and businesses, chilling credit markets, driving down stocks, and even killing jobs, said Paul Davidson in his article. Recession was seen if debt ceiling isn't raised on October 10, 2013. In this speech, we will talk about what is the debt ceiling, who do we owe all this money to, and lately it has been raised again, and how that affects our economy. And if the debt ceiling is not raised, what happens to the U.S. economy? Our economy will continue to crumble, and we will continue to owe trillions of dollars in debt. Well, first of all, what is the debt ceiling? When the federal government spends more than what it takes in taxes is a simple way of explaining the debt ceiling. To get into more detail, the debt ceiling constrains how much the federal government can carry at a given time in order to pay for its operations. Whenever the amount of debt approached the limit, Congress would need to vote to raise it. That's where we are today. The amount of federal debt is once again approaching the legal limit. That if Congress fails to raise it, the nation won't be able to borrow any more money to pay the debt, finance existing financials the President has agreed to. According to an article, 10 Questions About the Debt Ceiling by Louis Jacobson, October 13, 2013. Now, who do we owe all this money to? More than 2/3 of the United States debt is held in the United States, either directly by individual bondholders or institutions, such as mutual funds or retirement plans. The remaining third is held by foreigners, either individually or institutionally. Of that 1/3 held by foreigners, almost 23% is held by Chinese individuals or institutions, and 20% is held by the institutions or individuals in Japan. Investors in dozens of other countries hold some U.S. debt, but no single country other than China and Japan hold more than 5% of the U.S. debt. Illustrates Louis Jacobson in his article, 10 Questions About the Debt Ceiling, October 13, 2013. Lastly, what is going to happen to the economy now that the debt ceiling was recently raised after 2 weeks in which the federal government has been paralyzed and the U.S. economy brought to the brink of defaulting on its debts? A deal was done on October 16, 2013. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell announced in the Senate, both houses of the American Congress passed a short-term bill allowing the government to suspend the debt ceiling until February 7, 2014. Says Vivek Hall in his article, Debt Ceiling Absurdity, on October 17, 2013. It was signed into law early that morning on Thursday, October 17, 2013. The federal government is reopening, employees are coming back to their office, and the U.S. Treasury will be able to borrow the money it needs to pay its bills, states Paul Lewis in his article, U.S. Shutdown and Debt Ceiling, on October 16, 2013. The bill will also end the government shutdown in the United States and allow it to operate until January 15, 2014. Governments around the world spend more money than they earn. They make up for the difference by borrowing money. The U.S. government is no different in this way. The only trouble is that it is not allowed to borrow beyond a certain limit. This limit is referred to as the debt ceiling and was recently set at $16.69 trillion. In conclusion, if the debt ceiling is not raised, which it was in mid-October, our economy will continue to crumble and we will fall deeper into debt.